Welcome back to the Uptown Experts podcast. This is Uptown's educational platform where we slow things down. We bring clarity and we talk about the things people actually deal with, but rarely say out loud. Today's conversation is about pressure, masculinity, integrity, relationships, and how stress leaks into the places we don't intend when we don't process it. This isn't therapy, and it's definitely not a lecture. It's a real conversation between two men who've lived enough and know that silence is expensive. So before I get too far into it, I want to properly introduce today's guest. I'm sitting down today with Roy Cocciollo. Roy is a mortgage broker, a business owner, and someone who doesn't shy away from a real conversation around integrity, masculinity, balance, and growth. What I respect about Roy is this. He's not trying to be loud. He's not trying to posture or be boastful. He focuses on doing the internal work and helping other men understand what it really means to live with integrity under pressure. Roy also hosts his own podcast, The Integrity Project, where he explores a lot of the same themes we're going to talk about here today. Leadership, accountability, relationships, and becoming a better man, not just a more successful one. So Roy, welcome to the podcast, and thank you for coming.
Clyde, it's my pleasure, and what a beautiful introduction, man. I don't know, you got me down to good. I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Well, like I said to you, many times before off camera, I really have been wanting you to come and sit down with me for a while, and schedules being what they are, it took a little bit longer than I would have liked, but this is a conversation that I've been really wanting to have, and I think we've been having it like slowly, in parts all around the world every time we see each other. So this one's not really about titles or tactics or anything like that. This is just about real life experience, and I'm going to throw a bunch of things at you.
And I will be authentic and honest, and I'll give you my perspective or lend you my perspective on all things. I think it's important for people to understand that life can be very difficult. Mm-hmm. And especially nowadays with social media, having to keep up with the Joneses, with the Johnsons and everybody else out there, the Kardashians. I think that we're changing, the guard is kind of changing where women are taking a lot more control. And I think a lot of us have lost our way as men and don't know where we fit. Mm-hmm. So my podcast and things we'll talk about is how we can really live into our masculinity and not be threatened by the power of the femininity. So I am so looking forward to the questions that we're going to discuss today. And, you and I have some amazing conversations when we're out and about, and we laugh a lot because we know we don't take life that seriously.
No, you can't. I mean, life is serious enough, right? If you just harbor or, harp on the negative.
Well, I think that if you think about all the negative stories that you had when you were a kid, you look back at it now, you laugh as a man, right? The exactly. Dumbest things that we did, they thought, oh my God, I got in trouble. You thought your life was over. And now you look back and you're like, you tell your friend you're all that. Remember that time? You remember that time we were playing chicken in a tree with rocks that we were throwing up there and see who got hit in the skull?
Playing chicken behind the wheel of a car?
Oh yeah, we definitely did a lot of crazy things. And the craziest thing that we do is we just don't honor our knowing, and that's because we're so busy, being busy, that we forget to stop and actually listen to our souls. And I wish I did a lot more of that when I was younger. My ego was too big. Mm-hmm. My ego was too loud, and I had something to prove to the world that really had no worth at the end of it all. It actually, if anything, destroyed the things that I truly cared about. Mm-hmm. And I think that I believe and I know in my heart that wasn't the man I was made out to be. So I made it my quest to find out who Roy really was. And in the past 3 years since I started my journey with Man on Fire, I really began to embrace my masculine power, my king energy for not just my family, but especially for myself, because I went there, wanted to get my girlfriend back, and I actually went and got myself back.
Which is amazing.
Which, you know what, and people say, well, what does that mean? We lose ourselves sometimes, and you just need a place. And I'm not saying that Man on Fire is the only place, but I'm just saying you need a place where you're able to surrender yourself, to have the awareness of why you are doing the things that you are doing. And as men, we're always told to suck it up, don't cry, you know, talk about those things. It's a man thing. And I'm here to tell you that don't do those things. Mm-hmm. Learn to discover yourself. Learn to know where that pain's coming from. Learn to cry about it. Learn to accept it, acknowledge it. Learn to love that wounded little boy that was either molested or abused or told them they weren't good enough or you're not lovable enough, and embrace him and allow yourself to emote those emotions that you've always had and wanted to express. Because vulnerability is the power to anything. And if you can't be open and accepting of yourself, no one's going to accept you. And we were talking about that a little bit earlier, the fact that when we show up, I just want to show up with my heart online and be able to, for people to see who I really am, not the stories they expect.
Yeah. People throw around the term, you know, be your authentic self, right? And pardon me for being blunt, but like I'm getting sick of hearing it because people are saying it, but are you actually living it?
Are you being your authentic self that people want to see, or are you actually being yourself? And don't get me wrong, like I don't want, if you're like a big softie and stuff like that and you come to work, you don't want to be your authentic self at work. Like you have the different parts of you for different challenges in life.
Correct, yes.
Right? So at the end here, I'm not saying you come to work and like you're having a bad day and you break down emotionally in front of your colleagues, unless you have somebody you can trust. But I think that you have to understand being authentic as being true to yourself and what your soul wants for you.
Yes, and that point is huge. It's what does your soul want for you? What does your soul want for you today, in this moment? Because, you know, we talked about, you know, fleeting thoughts, as I'll say, you know, and understanding that those are thoughts that you don't have to act on, right? Those are just things that, as you mentioned, you know, earlier, that come into your mind that, you know, are not for you. But having the inner strength to not act, to not do, is probably much harder than the other side, yeah?
Well, listen, in life, there's only 3 things you can control: your attitude, what you focus on, and your actions. Right? So if you have a thought, and like, I don't carry shame around my story. So like, for me, I was, you know, my weakness was women, obviously. So like, you have these thoughts that come in, and I had choice. I could focus on not doing that because it made me feel empowered in one sense as a man. And like when I was a kid, I was super bullied, and I was known as the ugly kid on Cheryl Court. So as I grew up, and as I grew, I know people are like, what are you talking about?
Impossible.
And you know, as growing up, part of my, I'm gonna say, like, my alter ego was like, well, I'll show you how ugly I am, right? And I apologize for all those that you know, I've hurt on the way there for my own ego, and I don't need to prove anything to anybody. I just want to prove that I am a good man with a good heart. And you know, I think women are beautiful. I think they're empowering. I think they're great storytellers. They're lovely to be around. But I have my life partner, and I have somebody I truly care about and love, and I wouldn't trade that for anything. And even for those fleeting thoughts that come, I have a choice. Am I going to go with my ego and say, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's, you know, and whether your vice is women, gambling, porn, drugs, alcohol, overworking, or maybe you're a super athlete that you just do one, like whatever your obsession's about.
There's the word, yes.
And whatever your obsession is and your addiction for that make you feel like you're superhuman at that time. Sit for a moment and say, why am I doing this? Like, what am I afraid of discovering?
What is this actually going to bring me?
Yeah, like what pain am I going to express if I sit quietly and allow it to just surface?
Yeah.
When's the last time you just sat in nature and looked at the trees and allowed your nervous system just to calm down and know that you are enough just the way you are?
I think I say this on almost every podcast, so I think it's getting like a little bit crazy, boring for people. But, you know, taking the moment to just sit down in my hot tub with nothing, no podcasts, which sounds crazy, but no podcasts, no noise, just me, my hot tub, and nature.
When's the last time you've been fully present for somebody? When's the last time you've been fully present for yourself? When's the last time that you gave such a gift to your dad because you haven't talked to him in a long time, and you don't allow that moment to be distracted by work or family or kids or anybody else? You just sat there and honored him.
And that relationship, you know, and I'm sorry to cut you off, but like, and even for myself, I'll talk about it. You know, I came from parents separated, divorced, and, you know, didn't have the great relationship with my father, right? He wasn't really part of my life growing up. And, you know, now that I see him and he's much older, and you start having those thoughts where it's like, wow, I mean, I never thought this day would come where I'm looking at my dad as an old man, and, well, what happens if, you know, am I going to regret not having those conversations, not taking the time, not spending the time?
Well, I think that people forget that your dad probably carried a lot of shame at that time, didn't know how to build that gap in relationship. He was doing his best that he can by providing, and we got to give him a little bit of grace. Like, my dad was working so hard, and we never really built a relationship when I was younger, and thank God I built a relationship with him when I got a little bit older. And, you know, I used to be so mad at him. He never came to my basketball games. He never like offered me anything, and everything I did, he tried to correct me and all that kind of stuff. And I spent a lot of my young adult life resenting my father when he talked to me, because all he wanted to do is give me advice.
Yeah.
But now I look at it like, because he loved me.
Exactly.
And that's the way he showed his love.
Exactly.
And now my mom's got dementia, and my dad is taking care of my mom, and he's my hero. And we now have those conversations that I used to despise. I look forward to.
Yeah.
And
now you actually go in almost not asking for the advice, but you're planting the seeds just to hear what he has to say a little bit.
Well, now it's almost the opposite. Like, my dad's looking for comfort in me. And I learned one thing: I don't give him advice. I just allow him to express himself where he's at. And my dad carries a lot of sadness because he knows that my mom's deteriorating. He's losing her. And that's where I have to meet him. And, you know, we don't give people enough grace at times. I know that we don't all get along and we don't have the same point of views, but I think when you come from a place of understanding instead of a place that I'm right, you're wrong, you'll be a much happier human being.
Agreed. So much so. I agree.
You know, like all my betrayals, I used to try to justify, and now I just take responsibility for them. And that was a big difference in my life, because when I take full responsibility, now I no longer can play the victim. And that means I'm able to control the outcomes that come out of there, where people want to blame everybody else for where they're at. And you are the sum of all your choices. Like, my relationships are the sum of all my choices. They were never healthy. I was not a healthy, emotionally healthy human being. Everyone thought I was a nice guy. Everyone liked me. And I wanted people to like me, so I kept doing the same stupid shit. And now I don't want you to like me. I want you to respect me, and I want you to be able to trust me. And I didn't know how to trust myself in the beginning because I couldn't trust my instincts. I knew they were wrong, and I kept falling in the same pattern over and over and over again, until one day I basically lost everything that I ever cared for. And I was on Instagram, and I saw this advertising for Man on Fire, and I didn't even think about it, dude. Honestly, I called and they set an appointment, and the next day I got a coaching call with this guy. And
so I gotta pause you. What is this Man on Fire thing?
So Man on Fire is a community of men wanting to make men better men. I mean, that's the summary of it. It teaches you how to be vulnerable. It teaches you how to take responsibility for your life. It teaches you how to get with, it teaches you how to face all the fears that you had in your lifetime. It teaches you how to look them dead in the eye and face them, and be able to understand where your pain comes from, why you continue the same patterns in your life. And I'm not going to say Men on Life changed my life, because they don't change anything. They gave me the awareness of what I need to look into. They gave me tools. They gave me support. They gave me a brotherhood. Like, I'm still friends with a lot of guys at Men on Fire. As a matter of fact, tomorrow I'm filming my integrity project, and we're doing a series on masculinity. And we all come with different perspectives. And, you know, those guys were like the first ones to say, yeah, man, we're going to do it. So they're coming over this Friday night. We're going to plan this all up, and tomorrow we're going to film it. So it gave you a brotherhood where you can call anybody and speak to them one-on-one. And you know what? It's not about advice. It's about creating the awareness and acknowledgement of where your pain comes from.
Yep.
And mine was, I just never felt worthy of good things. Like, I never felt like that. Hey, if I had this, I'm not really worthy of it. So I self-sabotage it to lose it and say, see, you're not worthy of those things. And I learned to really own up, and I began to clean up my messes. I took full responsibility for my actions, the way I showed up. And on top of that, I promised people I love and care about that I would never go back to being that. And I've been working on that every day. And you know what? I'm batting pretty good. I mean, I'm going to say that my trust factor was 0 3 years ago. It's probably 85%, because you'll never get 100.
No, there's no such thing as perfect.
But I trust myself fully, so I know exactly who I have to show up as.
But you were willing to do the hard work.
And it's scary shit.
Yeah.
Like, I went to what they call an immersion for 4 days, and I cried basically for 4 days. I broke down so emotionally that when I left there, I didn't really have any sadness left.
So
I didn't have any shame left. And my mentor, David Mailer, who's the founder of Man on Fire, he was my coach for 2 years. I took a year off, and now I'm going to go back for the Quest, which is an 8-month program that I'm going to go and run myself ragged.
Wow.
Which is amazing. I'm so looking forward, because I really do miss it.
For me, and I heard what you said there, and I'm going to throw this at you. Why do men feel like it's not okay to say, I'm not okay?
Because we're men, and we are designed to be the rocks in the foundation of our household. And depending on what your upbringing is, it depends on where your foundation is built. So if your foundation is built on a rock solid foundation, which some of us are blessed to have great fathers who taught us how to be men, and those of us who did not build foundations on sand, and when the storm rolls in and that foundation starts to fall apart, we're just trying to hold everything together, hold the roof up, hold the walls together. You know, your wife is saying, well, we need to buy these things. And in your mind, you're saying, honey, I don't have the money, but you say yes anyway. And then because you betrayed yourself, your wife doesn't trust you to make the decisions that you need, and she calls you a loser and emasculates you. Like, we can go through this whole list of things that actually do happen. But the first thing that men have to learn to do is never bend. Never bend your morals, never bend what you believe is right. You need to protect your family even by saying no. I know we want to give our kids and our wives everything. And as one of the providers in a family, and you got to be the rock, and you have to create budgets, and you have to say, these are the things we're doing. This is what we can afford to do right now. I'm not saying no, but if we want to do this, we have to work together to get there. Get their kids involved in the money aspect, get their wives involved in the money aspect. I know that my ex-wife had no idea, and and the thing is, because I didn't express my boundaries and my expectations, I immediately started to resent her, expecting her to know what my expectations were.
But you never told her.
No, I didn't.
So
How can, so the thing is, like, why are you always mad and angry? Because you're defying me without me telling you what the rules are.
Exactly.
And so communication is key.
Communication is everything.
Yes, it is. I mean, you have to, and I know that conversations are so hard because we come from this. Clive, I got to tell you something. And I know it's going to hurt you. So deep inside of me, I don't want to tell you because the way you see me is going to be different than you see me now. So I don't say anything. But deep down, I am just every day hating you more and more. You know, I can't believe this is happening. Your relationships start to fall apart. You know what, Clive, I'm going to tell you this, and you're going to be pissed. I'm going to tell you that right now, and you are going to be pissed. But you know the thing is, you don't have to like me at that moment.
No.
But you'll respect me, and you'll love me because you can trust I'm going to tell you the truth.
Yes.
Right? Because how many of us say, okay, I went to the casino, I lost $500. How am I going to tell my wife? Blah, 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 yada, yada. Instead of just going to my wife like I did something really stupid, honey, I don't know what it's got. I got out of control, and I lost $500 on a roulette table. Your wife's going to kick you in the nuts.
And then you move on.
And she's going to tell you, you're right. But at the end, she's like, I'm glad he told me. I can trust him.
There's the word. Yes, I can trust that if something happens, he's going to come to me.
And he's going to say, I'm going to make it up to you.
Yes.
Whatever way it is, right? I'll go get a second job, cut lawns, whatever it is. You guys decide how you guys are going to deal with that. And I think a lot of times as men, we try to deal with things alone. And I'm not saying that you have to deal with every possibility with your wife. There's some things that your wife doesn't need to know.
Agreed.
Right? Like you're busting your ass at work and things are hard and all that kind of stuff. What you want a place is come home where you can feel rejuvenated, re-energized, where you can rest and recover.
Yeah. You want to be able to, and I know we've talked about this, you want to be able to take the armor off, right? You want to be able to, and I've used this metaphor before where, you know, at work, we put the armor on because we have to.
We're going to war.
Yeah, exactly, right? You have to lead, you have to decide, you have to protect, you have to perform. But the problem is a lot of men, including myself, we forget to take it off. And, you know, I used to walk through my front door, armor still on. And I used the same tone, I would have the same edge, and I would take the same pressures from work into my home. And let me tell you, I didn't realize it. I wasn't doing it on purpose. But when I stopped and I started being quiet, when I started doing the work, I started to realize what it was doing to the people that I love. And for me, that was the hardest part. Because you talk about the cry, oh man, right? When you really stop, when you're really quiet and there's nothing else going on, man, that takes you to places that, you know.
I did the same thing when my kids growing up and I was always on edge and all those kind of things. And looking back, I wish I had the awareness of it. But I would say like, I just got off work, fuck you, blah, 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 yada, yada, right? And everyone leave me alone. So I think it's very important that you have a ritual that separates you from warrior, the father, the husband. So when you're done work, and like the one thing I love about driving home from work a lot of times, the fact it gives you time to just click it down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I work from home now anyway, but you have to create a ritual that can release some of that energy that you've been piling up all day.
Yeah.
You know, you can rage. It's simply just scream as loud as you can in your car and just let that shit rip, right? Just to release that
tension,
that emotional charge that you have from dealing with asshole clients all day, and you know, guys that are not happy, lenders not getting back to, and you know, one thing piles up on the other. And you know, when I started becoming present for my children, which might make me emotional here, but when I started becoming present to my children, I started to realize how much I actually hurt them.
Yeah.
And we don't want to say that, but you know, I did the best I could with what I had at the time, and I wish I had the tools earlier, and we all do. I wish I knew this one in my 30s, but looking back, if I showed up in a Man on Fire immersion when I was 30, I probably would have walked out the door because I wasn't ready for it.
No.
And then when I cleaned up that situation with my kids and apologized to them and promised them that I would never be that person again, the change in my daughters, the change in my son, like I didn't even recognize them anymore. It's like that whole protective wall they put up around them from monster dad to like the vulnerable, soft dad, just allowed them to grow.
Well, they say, the old sayings are often true. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right?
Right.
So if what you're putting out is naturally, they have to either put up the defensive mechanisms or they're going to absorb it and become.
Yeah. And the thing is, now you have this, don't get me wrong. Like I will tell them, first of all, I don't want what I want for my children. I stopped letting go of that because I think a lot of us force, well, I want my kids to be happy. Well, maybe your kid doesn't want to be happy. And what your definition of happiness is not their definition of happiness.
There we go. Yeah.
You know, and I wanted to push my daughter because she's so smart, dude. Like, honestly, by the way, Maya, happy birthday. She's 23 today.
Happy birthday, Maya.
And I wanted to be a doctor. She's super smart, photographic memory, all these things. But you know what? She's an artist. So you can't force an artist to be an engineer.
No.
And the moment I kind of just accepted just her, right? Just like I accepted myself, and as much as in my wounds and my imperfections, I just accepted myself. I accepted her for her wounds and her imperfections, and just allowed her to bloom. And the amount of joy and happiness that she shows every day when she shows up now is completely different than before. She was like this wallflower. I was afraid to express herself. She couldn't sleep at night. She was up all night, slept all day because she didn't want to deal with people. Like a lot of these things. And you know, I'm so thankful that, you know, Leanne, who's my life partner, came into my life because she was my catalyst to getting where I am today. And I can't honor her or thank her enough for actually seeing who I really was. And when I say I see you as the person, not as the Uptown owner, not as a mortgage broker, Clyde. I see you as like my brother. Like I see the real you and your soft heart and your contagious laugh. And you know what? I probably met you not even like about 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago.
Yeah.
In Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah. Mexico.
Mexico. And you know what? I always really enjoyed the person that you were. And you know what? You just keep on doing what you're doing, brother, because like you're just an amazing human being. So I just want to honor you for that. But
Thank you.
Going back to like finding yourself, and it's not about finding yourself you're never lost. It's about having the courage to begin to discover where you fall short. And just loving yourself for that. Give yourself grace. We're not perfect. None of us, when people say, oh, I wish my parents were different. My dad was like this and that, the other thing. You have to realize something, that you wouldn't be where you are.
Exactly.
No matter how bad they seem, if they were the perfect parents, you'd probably not be the person that you are today.
Yep.
And you might be even worse off. You know, and do I wish that my dad spent more time with me as a kid? 100%.
Every kid does.
But you know what? I mean, I spent every weekend with my kids, but I was never present for my kids.
Yeah, I think I can echo that same statement. You know, I because I didn't have my dad at every soccer game, I make every soccer game. But am I there, or am I texting or working? And, you know, and again, it was, you do the work, right? Then you finally stop and you realize, and maybe it was, you know, my wife also saying, hey. Right?
Yeah, man. One of the thing is, this is really like everything. This is really important.
But so's your kid. Who's
I mean,
do this once.
Is it really important that if someone you didn't answer that text or email, they're going to die?
Exactly.
But that moment, your kid running on a soccer field and scoring that goal while you're looking down, like I apologize to my daughter because you know, I was a dance dad, and I really can't remember any of her recitals or competitions because I was always busy. My mind was always somewhere else, and you can't take that back. And I think that nobody on their deathbed goes, "Oh, I really wish I did that mortgage deal."
No,
I really wish I returned that email faster. And really, the person that you're dealing with on the other text, that's a client, is not going to cry at your funeral. They're not going to miss you I guarantee you that next year, if somebody offers him a better rate, he's probably going to go somewhere else. You know, so
honest, right?
Yeah, just being honest. Like, I think that we put so much emphasis on making money and chasing down our goals. I've kind of changed my perspective on that. And it's like, if I just become a really good human being, abundance will flow through me because I'm planting a garden where I attract what I desire. Good people. People want to do business because they like me. I like them. We respect each other. They take my advice. Those are the people I want to deal with. And, you know, it's been a hard year for me because, you know, I lost some agents this year and all that kind of stuff. And in the beginning, I took it really personally. And I realized, you know what? If I couldn't offer what they're looking for, that's okay.
That's okay.
And you know what? I wish them all the success. And it's something probably should have been done a long time ago. But again, if you don't make the right decision, the universe will make it for you.
Exactly.
So these are things that do happen. So I don't want to get off topic here, but
it's okay. Well, here, let me ask you this. There's a lot of noise around masculinity right now and what people are, you know, calling mental health with a capital MEN. And so let's clear that up a little bit.
Okay.
What does healthy masculinity look like to you?
I think that a healthy masculinity is somebody who's willing to be hard and go to war when he needs to, but also can be soft and vulnerable when he needs to, when it's expected of him and needed of him. I believe there's no such thing as toxic masculinity. I think that phrase is overemphasized because people are threatened by real men. And I'm not saying like, you know, Stephen Tate and all those guys, like they're just really, to be honest, if you're listening, you guys are just assholes.
Isn't it Andrew Tate?
Andrew, whatever. Like, I don't even know his name. Okay, Andrew Tate, you're right.
He's
very well spoken, really smart guy.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think that real masculinity is somebody who is comfortable within their integrity of being a man.
100%. I would say you're strong enough to be honest, and then like I'll steal this from you before life forces it out of you.
Exactly. You're a type of person that does not get swayed. When you truly believe that something's good for your family, you'll stick by it. You will protect your family at all costs. Okay. You don't allow yourself or your energy to be leaked to other things that do not benefit you and your family circle or your friend circle. You are strong enough to allow other people's opinions not to matter. And people ask me, what does that mean? I said, well, some of the most wealthy people I know drive the shittiest car, wears the worst clothes, all that kind of stuff. They don't, and the reason why is because they don't care what other people think. You can walk around, have a Rolex, $5,000 suits, Porsches and Ferraris, big house. And you know what? You look rich, but really inside of yourself, you feel like you don't have enough. I think a real man is comfortable knowing that he already has it all, that he has no need to impress, but to sit powerfully quiet in a corner that when he's needed, he's ready.
Yeah.
And I think that people who put other people down for differences of opinion, people who don't allow women to be feminine, right? Like, I think that there could be you have your masculine women. I'm going to call them masculine energy because they do everything men do now. And I think if you want toxic masculinity is when women say they don't need men. When they hear about that. But you know what? The funny thing is, trust me, if there's no men, you would need us really badly.
Exactly.
And we need women too. Like, don't get me wrong.
Let's be real. I need a woman in my life. Okay.
So,
honey,
masculinity power is the powers that come up with ideas. They're very, they're the ones that defend. They're the ones that create, and women are the multipliers.
100%.
So when a true man comes in and has, you know, honey, this is my dream. This is something I want to do. And she buys into that with him and is willing to work together, that will completely, like, that was as a an excellent chance of becoming something fantastically great. And I honor all those women that, you know, definitely use their femininity to create or to multiply things. And I'm not a firm believer in like women's groups and men's groups. I think that we all should work together.
Agreed.
Because then division, whether it's gender or race or religion or whatever, that it becomes another problem in itself. And
Agreed.
I think part of masculinity is being able to bring people together as one, to respect, to uphold, to work together, to create like a teamwork environment where we can all grow together as human beings.
Yeah, there's definite synergies to be had regardless of gender, right? And you know, I'm gonna take you back to a point that you said, because what you said was women are multipliers. And as men, what we often forget is that. Now, if what you're putting in isn't the best version of yourself,
ooh, she's going to show you that really well.
she's going to multiply that as well. Right?
And the thing is, women are multipliers, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent.
Exactly.
So if you treat your wife and you put in a lot of good, you show up as the best version of yourself as you possibly can, she will multiply that by 1,000. If you come in being just a dick and a jerk, she'll multiply that by 1,000,000.
Exactly. And then we're going to blame her.
And yeah, 'cause my wife doesn't understand me. Like I work all fucking day and I'm the boss and blah, blah, blah.
Exactly. Ego. Hi.
You know what? There's times to put your ego in check. And I think everybody has an ego, but there's such thing as a healthy ego.
Yes.
And a destructive ego.
Agreed.
And most of my life, I live with a destructive ego.
But did you realize?
No, I tell you when I was very young, I met a very wealthy man, and he said to me, warning, with lots of wealth come 3 A's: attitude, alcoholism, and adultery. And I'm like, huh? And he says, if you're not careful, those 3 A's will take you down.
Yeah.
And I look at our industry, and what do I see? Fucking shitty ass attitude, or I'm too big to fail attitude, alcoholism, and adultery. I see it everywhere.
Yes.
And 10 years ago, 15 years ago, I thought it was really cool.
Now?
And now it hurts my heart.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not judging you. Like, for whatever reasons you have, maybe you need to find or discover yourself a little more on why that is. Like, why do you need to do that? And, you know, maybe it comes from a place of unworthiness, or you feel like it's unlivable, or maybe you're just not showing up the way you need to at home. But at the end here, I know that every person I ever met in this industry, deep down, are really good people who do really stupid things.
Ain't that the truth?
Right? And I don't judge you for that. I see you who you are, and I know that all of them are capable of being much better versions of themselves. And listen, I get it. Some people are very young, they're single, they're doing whatever. Hey man, I'm not saying you shouldn't drink. I'm not saying you shouldn't smoke or have a good time. I'm just saying, just make sure it's coming from a good place.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, we were young once too, right?
We all think we're invincible. And the funny thing is when I turned 50 was kind of like the peak of my stupidness. I wish it was much earlier than that. When I turned 50, I think it was a peak of my stupidness. And now I'm going to turn 57 this year. And I have to say that the version of myself that shows up every day for my family, for, you know, my friends, I'm really super proud of them. And, you know, when you can say that, when you say I'm super proud of like the things that I show up every day, I don't have anything to hide. I don't have skeletons in my closet anymore. I've cleaned that closet out. I have a really deep, truthful, trustful relationship with my life partner, Leanne. We sometimes have some very difficult conversations, but you know what? The more of those conversations we have, the closer I feel with her, because I know she loves me and I love her. And, you know, these are things that we really have to start focusing on, because as you get older, you realize all the things that you were chasing has no meaning to it whatsoever, because we're all going to be forgotten. It doesn't matter. Like, you can think about people who died in this industry in the past 5 years, and most of you don't even remember them.
Yeah.
Right. And you're going to be forgotten. The great things are going to be forgotten, and your sins will be forgotten. Just people will just forget that you even existed. So I don't think we should take life that seriously to think that you're so special, and none of us are special. Like, stop telling your kids you're special. They're not special.
They're special to you, maybe.
They're not special. You know what they are? They are physical beings in a conscious world. Their spiritual beings show up in basically a meat suit, and that they are connected to everybody and everything. And the question is, how do you want your kids to be connected to everybody and everything? Do you want them to be multipliers? Do you want them to be somebody who comes in with a good heart?
Yeah.
Do you want them to be, spoiled little brats that think that everything with a snap of a finger, it's theirs? And I think that, looking back, allowing your kids to figure out their own shit is the greatest gift you can give your kids.
Oh, I 100% agree with you there. There's two things that I say. I'm a big football guy. And when I say football, I mean soccer here, but football.
You mean real football?
Real football, right? And so one of the things I always say, and it came from one of my former coaches, and I always say, you need to be a good human first and a good footballer second. And, I ingrained that into my kids, so much so that, I remember, and my wife, Natasha, will often be, out and about, or in the early days, we'd be hearing from the teachers, and they would say, well, Mr. and Mrs. Bryant, your kids, they're, so polite, they're always helpful, But they wouldn't say anything more so about their grades, because, listen, I love my boys, but, my twins, the grades aren't really what it was about. But great humans, right? Knew how to communicate, change a room, be there for people, stand up for people. The things that I believe, that we believe, really matter.
Do you think anybody's going to remember if they had an A, B, or C?
No.
They're going to remember, those Brian kids? They're fucking awesome.
Exactly.
You know what? I remember you. And costs nothing to be kind. It costs nothing about picking up the phone and, you know what, just say hello to somebody that you were thinking about. Help that lady cross the street. Be nice to your underwriters. I understand the deal is not getting done, but you know what? Just tell her, I thank you for even looking in this for me. I really do appreciate you. And everybody thinks that they're so fucking important. I feel important being here today, Clive. I really do, and thank you for having me here. But really, at the end of the day here, I'm not that important. I'm just a guy.
You're just a guy with an opinion.
I'm a guy with a perspective that I like to share and lend it to people, and maybe they'll take a different look at themselves. And the whole point of this is just create the awareness of because most of us are so close to our problems that we don't see them. We forget to look for them. So my whole thing is just become aware of what makes you angry. What triggers your triggers? How can you be more kind? How can you give yourself a little more grace, not to be so hard on yourself? How can you create a garden that's going to attract beautiful things? Those are the things that you really need to start thinking about. Not how can I force my way through life?
Why do so many successful men potentially still feel empty?
Because they believe that having more will fulfill them. They have an emptiness inside them that think they have to fill up with things and titles and money, and people just don't have, they forget that some of the human needs we have in life, and there are 6 human needs. One is certainty. One is variety. One is significance and connection. And we mostly base our relationships in life on those 4. But people forget the last 2, which is contribution and growth. And I think that when you get all the money that you actually need in life, and I looked at myself as well, is the human need I really really wanted was growth. And then the next one is contribution. I want you to be able to contribute something good to the world, because that's what really is going to end up fulfilling me. Mm-hmm. And before I used to do it at a point of significance, like I want people to see how cool I am, right? And like how much growth. Like I remember like when I was going through my stuff and trying to win back the trust of Leanne and stuff like that, I'd be like I'm doing all this work, and like it's like and and then it made me feel like, well, can't you see it? And it's like, it's not about her seeing it.
No, it's
about me feeling it and living into it and embodying that version of myself, so that when I walk into a room, she goes like, that's my fucking man.
But you had to have done the work.
Right? But yeah, of course you have to do the work. And most people are afraid of growth because they think that they're going to leave everybody behind. And not for anything, I have left people behind.
That's the point of growth.
I know, but and it's not like I won't like socialize with them or anything like that.
No.
I want you to eat. You're just not eating at my table. Yeah. I'll come and visit your table and have a drink.
I'll stop by every now and then.
Yeah. It's just like my addictions and the things that drove me beforehand. You don't think that we still have, like, an addiction's an addiction. It's part and great. Like, it comes knocking.
Yeah.
But before I just like try to suppress it. And now it's like, hey dude, what's up? What do you want? And he'd be like, oh man, wouldn't it be great? I go, it would have been great, but it's not great for me now.
Exactly.
Anymore. It doesn't fit who I am. But you know what? Thanks for calling. I really appreciate it. I kind of missed you a little bit, but it's not happening.
It's not happening.
And then when you look at life like that, and it's like a two-way street, and you do have a relationship, and you have a choice. Mm-hmm. You can have a relationship with your addiction as somebody who is basically, somebody who has I slipped my mind, but
outgrown it.
No, you're both like relying on each other, right? Codependent.
There you go.
Right? You're dependent on your addiction to make you feel that gap, right? Mm-hmm. So that's a relationship. Mm-hmm. The question is, what kind of relationship do you really want with that? Mm-hmm. It's like the same thing when people have abusive relationship. Why is it that you think that you want a relationship with that version of yourself or with that version of that person? What is it that you haven't realized in yourself? Well, it feels comfortable for me because my dad abused my mom. And that's what I think a man means to me. Or that's what, like my mom used to verbally abuse my dad. And that's why I met a girl who abuses me the same way or emasculates me the same way. So when you start creating awareness of where those blind spots are and say, I really want to change the relationship I have with my addiction. I don't want to be codependent on it anymore. Mm-hmm. I understand you'll always be there. I do. But I want to start distancing myself from that. So what do? I start doing other things to fill the space.
Mm-hmm. Healthier things?
Healthier things. Start to exercise. I can't tell you how much pushing your body makes you feel so much better. Yes. Oh, I never knew I could do that. Try a new exercise. Look at me. I can do pull-ups. Oh my God, I think I hurt my shoulder. And I'm going to do that next week. And, you're going to go through your struggles, of course. And like I went to the gym this morning and I do push-ups with 90 pounds on my back. And so guys, I know. And I'm doing it. This guy's like, you need help with that? I'm like, no, I don't need help with that. But, and it took me a long time to get there. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't happen overnight. But like when I finished that, I'm like, I can really wait to get the 3 plates on my back. And like, I'm going to be like, I want to be strong because myself 10 years from now, I wanted to go back and say, hey, Roy, thanks for taking care of you so that way I can do the things I want to do now.
Exactly.
And it's the same kind of relationship you have with everything. You have to decide what your boundary are in the relationship. Like, do I want to be strung out? Do I want to be arguing every time I would do it? Do I want to be somebody who struggles financially? Like, what type of relationship do you want? Because what you focus on is what you get. The universe will never give you what you want, Clive. Mm-hmm. It gives you who you are. Because how many of us, I want to be rich? Anybody win the lottery? So I'm just saying that people who won the lottery, typically 5 years, they're bankrupt.
Yeah, exactly.
Because they're not a person, they don't have that energy of a person with money, right? Can they be? Of course. Like, first thing I would be like, okay, first of all, I got money and I have no idea what to do with money, so I have to learn new skills. Mm-hmm. So what am I going to do? I'm going to get a financial coach who can teach me about money.
Yes.
Read a book, right? Because money doesn't last forever, but before you're living on $1, now you have $100 million, and now you're like, so the universe gives you who you are. So if you're a dick, the universe is going to give you reasons to be a dick. If you're somebody who has fear, the universe is going to give you stuff that gives you the reasons for you to be fearful and scared. But if you're somebody who walks into a room that knows no matter who they're going to meet, because as the person I am, I attract people, right? I didn't realize this, but while I was in Curacao, my sister-in-law goes, Roy, it seems like you have like a little bit of a resting bitch face. And I was like, what? She goes, yeah, like people like are really intimidated by you until you start talking and all of a sudden you soften up. And I'm like, I was never really aware. And the truth is I was aware because somebody else told me that about 5 years ago, but I didn't really give a shit who they were at the time anyway.
You hadn't done the work at that point.
I didn't have the time and I didn't really care what they thought, right? So now I'm aware when I walk into the room, I try to soften my look. Like maybe a little smirk on my face, brighter eyes, so that people won't be intimidated. My doctor told me the same thing when I went to go see my hormone doctor. He says, Roy, when you first walked in that room, he's like, holy shit, this guy's going to fucking kill me. Right? Like he's going to kill me. I'm like, and he goes, and then we start talking. And then we start talking about your personal growth. And then we started talking about helping other men. He goes, you went from this rock, like this rock of a man to putty in less than 25 minutes. And I'm like, maybe I have to become more aware of when I walk into a room to be a little bit softer. And I love hugs and I love shaking people's hands and I love looking people in the eye and I love having a little bit deeper conversations than how was your weekend?
It's the connection that it brings, right?
Well, because now what happens is when you feel seen and heard, and guys, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about, take a moment and think about when you were a kid and you want to talk to your parents about something that happened that day. And they're like, not now, honey, not now, not now, not now, not now. So then what happens as you get older, you want to be the loudest fucking guy in the room, right? You want to be the loudest guy because you want to be seen and heard. You think about that for a moment. And when your child comes up to you and says, mommy, daddy, and I know you're in the middle of something, you go, honey, I know what you have to say is really important. Just give me 1 second because I want to be fully present for you. That kid will sit and wait for you.
Yeah.
Right? If I pull you aside, Clyde, we have to have a conversation. And then I have on my phone, hey, yeah, man, like, you know, and like, you're like, why are you wasting my time? And that's how I lived most of my life. Half in here, half out there, never really fully committed, not really fully interested. You know what? We make a couple of jokes, we move on to the next. And now, like when I go to places, I don't even want to bring my phone with me. I want to be here. I want to be fully present. I want to be able to feel you and feel me. And like, listen, I had conversations at some people when we were talking, and I felt their emotional click and ended up crying with them, which is kind of like crazy to think about you can do that. But when you're fully present with somebody, you actually get to experience them.
It's the most beautiful part of life.
But aren't we all looking for like a really meaningful connection?
Yes, we should be.
Right? Like a deep connection. Now, I'm not talking about like a connection with like 100,000 people that you don't, but I'm just like, when I sit and talk to you, I want to be connected to you. Why? Because that's the only way we can really share like really great things and meaningful things.
For me, and I think I mentioned this earlier, like I just got back from Portugal with my kids and, you know, Portugal changed me. And not because, let me put it like this. Sorry, I'm trying not to get emotional. So
That's okay. You're
kids,
loud.
I get emotional.
You're loud.
You know, it changed me not because of the football. It changed me because who it's allowing my kids to become. And watching them grow and watching everything they're doing, but then the moments, the quiet moments that creep in where you realize, well, August is only 4 months away. What do you mean you're leaving? Where did the last 4 years go? And you start asking yourself the questions on what's really important. And do the material things really matter?
Do you think that if you lived in a 2-bedroom bungalow somewhere in Toronto and drove a shitty car, that your kids will love you any less?
Absolutely not.
You know, and like, wait till you're an empty nester. Like, I'm an empty nester. Me and Leanna, we have 5 kids between us, and we're an empty nester.
Yeah.
And sometimes I love it, right? But it really makes me appreciate my children when I go see them. I really do look forward to spending time with them and listening to them and looking into their eyes and them just telling me all about their life. They never asked me about mine, but that's okay. I think they heard enough about mine, but, you know, and understanding that love for not just your children, but humanity in general can create such beautiful things. I mean, there's so much hatred in the world right now, you know, whether it's religious hatred or, you know, sexual hatred or, you know, people hating toxic masculinity, and like everything's so negative. Mm-hmm. And I think we have to make a conscious effort to really start sending vibes of love out there.
And just, pardon the expression, but stop being fucking negative. Like, let's be real.
Stop looking for the differences in each other. Look, you and I are different. I'm tall, you're short.
Thanks, Roy.
You're welcome. You know, you got curly hair, I got straight hair.
That's it.
Right? I mean, at the end of the day here, like, but you know, I don't look at those things. What I look at is, you know, what a beautiful soul you have. And we forget that all our souls are connected somewhere, and we're all related. We're all brothers. We came from Adam and Eve, if you believe in that story. 2 people, which means from 2 people, there's 8 billion people or 9 billion people in the world. We're all related. Hate to tell you that. So why don't we start treating each other like, you know, brothers and sisters, to create a much more congruent, loving world where we're allowed to accept each other for who we are. Not the God that we praise, not the jobs that we do, but just the fact that we are human. And maybe we all need to go to outer space to look at this little floating blue ball in the middle of space. Because they say that Astro, when you go out there, it changes your whole perspective about humanity. But, you know, I'm not going to say I hate because I don't hate anything, but it saddens me to see everybody wants to be right. It saddens me to say that we can't all just live in our lives with our own perspective, with our own opinions in peace. Why is it that because you don't believe what I believe, I have to kill you?
It's not right.
Why is it that because you don't believe what I believe, that you're beneath me or above me or whatever you want to call it? Why is it that I don't make as much money as you, so you put me in a different class? Why do we have all these differences? And I think that one of the things I definitely learned on Man on Fire was it didn't really matter where you came from. It doesn't matter your background, your religion, your social status. We're all brothers. And we're designed and built and put here by our Creator, whoever you think that is, to help each other, to love each other, to make each other grow. Because where love goes, everything grows.
I'm just going to say, a lot of men who might be listening now might know someone who's struggling. What's the right way to support a friend who might be struggling without trying to fix them?
First of all, you're never fixing anybody because you're not broken. You're undiscovered. 2, give them space. And what I mean by that is give them a safe space that they can fully express themselves without being judged. If they need a shoulder to cry on, allow them to cry fully. They're in pain. You're not going to go like, dude, suck it up. This is bullshit. You know, you're a man. Grow some balls. You know what? That's a wounded little boy. You hold him in your arms and you give him space to cry, to express. If it's anger he needs to express, give him space to express the anger in a safe way. No physical, like, can't punch each other. That's not, but if you have a punching bag and you want to go out there and give him a safe place that he can just let his rage go. Rage rooms are good. And just allow him to really know where that pain comes from. And there's tools and modalities. Like, I had to say that Man on Fire is a great tool. And I've never met more loving, caring human beings ever. And it was the first time in my life when I went to one of those that I felt unconditionally loved and not judged. And as soon as you judge your friend, your brother, your daughter, your son, your neighbor, you've lost that.
Agreed.
So, yeah, listen, if anybody needs support, and I'm going to start a men's support group this summer. That's my next plan for a safe place where men can come. It's not a therapy session. It's not a kumbaya thing. It's just a place where men can be vulnerable without being judged and allow them to express themselves, give them some tools they can use to help them get with the pain. Men are warriors. We're not made to run away from anything. We're made to face and feel, as hard as that may be. But it's very liberating. And you know what? If you have a friend right now that really needs help, I just strongly suggest to be there quietly for him. I've had moments with some of my friends, and you sit there and you give them space and look in each other's eyes and just say, you know what, buddy, I'm here for you.
Oh, that line alone, even, I'll say in my times of need, just having the ability to turn to a friend and having them say to me, I'm here for you. You don't got to go about this alone. But saying it, meaning it, and feeling it.
It's got to come from your heart. We do a lot of this from here. Men forget that all our power lies in our heart. Mm-hmm. And when I say to somebody, like, I see you, and I see you're in pain, and I'm here for you, I'm just here. Mm-hmm. You tell me what you need. And some of them go, I need that fucking bitch dead, and I don't know, blah, blah, and all that stuff. And I'm like, no. What do you need right now? Mm-hmm. And I think that, we love to be loud. And if I can give anybody any advice, I'd learn to lead with your heart. Because a lot of us try to logically explain our ways through things instead of just closing our eyes, put our hand on our heart, and just allow our hearts to speak for us, especially when it comes to your wife and your children. Because logically we're like, you don't do this and you don't fucking do that, blah, 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 yada, yada. But if you put your hand on your heart, like, I'm so sorry that I wasn't really here to help you. I'm so sorry that I didn't see that you needed help with the children, and I just barged in here, grabbed the beer, and went to watch TV. I'm so sorry that, I didn't realize the garbage needed to be taken out because I was so distracted by my phone. And I'm so sorry that I didn't realize that you want to be with me because I'm so exhausted from my day. And a lot of us live our lives like that, head in the sand. Never really want to poke the bear.
Yeah.
Poke the bear, it's fun.
Have the uncomfortable conversation.
You know what? I think the first uncomfortable conversation, because you know what? I think we hold a lot of secrets. Mm-hmm. A lot like, hey, listen, you have your boys. Don't get me wrong. There's the boys' secrets, and women have the women's secrets, and there's some things you can talk about in the middle. I'm not saying that, you divulge anything and everything, but I think that if you have a truly amazing woman that you can actually talk to, fuck, dude, man, that's like, you won the lottery right there.
That's 10. That's a 10. That's a unicorn.
You know what? Listen, I have one of those. Like, I almost fucked that up. No, I did fuck that up. But at least you can save any relationship if you're willing to take responsibility and do the work.
Agreed.
Whether it's your kids, listen, your dad, you've been fucking fighting for like 25 years. You hate the fucking guy. You can fix that relationship.
Yeah.
Your brother, whatever, you can fix that relationship. An old long-lost friend, he stole 10 grand from you and you think that guy's a dick, but you kind of miss him still. You can fix that relationship.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Like okay, I'm going to say this. You can't fix the relationship, but you can recreate a new relationship.
I like that one better.
Right? Because when relationships are you have to create a new relationship.
Mm-hmm. That one died. That's like I read this somewhere, and I don't want to butcher it, but I read somewhere that's like, you get married, things happen. You don't need to end the marriage to, start anew, right? No. People are like, I got divorced in my head, but I'm still with my wife and we're going to go start anew, right?
You divorce that version of yourself and them at that time.
Exactly.
Right? So the version of me 5 years ago, I don't even know who that guy is. Like, people talk like, let's talk about your story. And I'm like, it's not my story anymore.
It's not my story.
right? It was part of my history. And like, you know, if people need, like, I won't talk about this in the podcast, but everybody wants to hear my story and it'll help you get through your story, and I'll be more than happy. But like, the problem is we tell ourselves a story over and over and over again. This is my, but you have the conscious ability to change your story every morning you wake the fuck up.
Exactly. Every day you start anew.
Every minute. You don't like your life right now? Let me tell you this right now. If you don't like your life right now, make the decision to change what you do, how you see the world, and what you focus on, and I guarantee you, your life will change right now.
Right away. Just got to do it.
But people are afraid. You know why? I'm going to tell you this. This is how we're going to end this up here. Your identity is the hardest thing for you to let go of.
Agreed.
And we can have that another podcast another time. We can talk about identities.
Yeah. So, are you ready?
Yes.
I warned you, like I warn everybody before they sit in that seat. I like to end things with a lightning round.
All right, let's do it.
So, here we go. So, lightning round is short answers, no overthinking.
Okay.
All right?
Like how short? 2-3 words?
I'll give you a sentence or two.
Cool.
Give us one sign that a man is burning out.
Volatile.
I like that one. One boundary every man needs.
One boundary.
Making you think on this one.
Well, that one's because like one boundary is very difficult. But I'm going to say truth.
One lie men tell themselves about strength.
I'm never strong enough.
One habit that looks like success, but isn't.
Being a workaholic.
Oh, so true. One sentence men should practice saying at home.
I am safe. I am heard. I am seen.
One thing men avoid that would help them the most.
They avoid pain.
And lastly, one daily practice that protects mental health.
I'm going to say prayer and meditation.
And with that, Roy, thank you for coming.
No problem. And if you guys want to find me, you can find me at the Integrity Project on YouTube, RC Truth Academy on Instagram.
Perfect.
Or if you Google Roy Cocciollo, I am everywhere. But Clive, it's such an honor to sit here with you, my friend. And I'll have you on my podcast next time. We'll get a little deeper with you and see what happens.
Listen, I'm great on this side of the chair.
Oh, you know what? That's now your fear talking. Don't worry.
Nah, listen, if you invite me, I'll be there with bells on.
I will be more than happy because I would like to peel back the layers a little bit about Clyde.
Oh yeah, everybody wants to hear the story. It's
you know what? I don't even want to hear. So I want to hear how big your heart is. And you know what? If you know, raising your boys to go to Portugal and sacrificing really I'm not going to say your connection, but your daily connection with them for them to experience a new life like that, it takes a lot of courage. And, you know, you must have such deep trust in those boys, because if it wasn't, you'd have this weird thing. You're just openly sending them off because you know that they're going to do awesome, because they're awesome human beings that you raised, which means that you're an awesome dude.
Thank you.
Thank you, Clive.
Thank you. And with that, Uptown Experts, we're out.